You can argue most stories are puzzles, and once you have enough pieces of this puzzle, the picture becomes clear. You might debate certain details, but eventually audiences reach a rough consensus. Take Jaws, for example. After everything that happens in the film, you can understand that the film is about fear.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Take The Godfather as another example. It's about power and corruption at the end of the day.
I know it was you, Fredo. You broke my heart. You broke my heart.
You can dig deeper, sure, but the core meaning of these films remains stable. The Shining, however, doesn't behave like this. In fact, the deeper you dig, the stranger and more convoluted the film becomes. Every explanation creates contradictions. And that's because Kubrick wasn't interested in copying the book and creating a psychological puzzle with a solution. He wanted to create something far more unusual. And that's a film that actively resists interpretation. What makes the film even stranger is that confusion starts long before the horror actually kicks in. Something feels wrong immediately. Take the impossible window in Ullman's office. It's one of the most famous examples of the structural identity of the Overlook Hotel making zero sense. Nothing scary happens during the interview. Jack is simply meeting the hotel manager. In the grand scheme of things, you could argue it's the most normal scene in the entire film. But there's a single problem viewers will never catch on a first viewing. A window sits behind Mr. Ullman's chair, but the only issue is that window shouldn't actually exist. When fans mapped the Overlook Hotel, they discover the room physically couldn't have an exterior window. The architecture is impossible. And once you notice this, you can never unsee it. The most bizarre aspect of this is that Kubrick is the most meticulous director of all time. He's built every frame of every one of his films with obsessive precision, which means this was not a continuity error, it was an intentional choice. The hotel isn't broken, reality is. The more fans studied the hotel, the stranger things became. Hallways connect to impossible locations and rooms appear where no room should actually exist. The Overlook functions almost like a dream, and geographically it behaves like one. You'd never consciously notice these things, but subconsciously your brain is trying to solve a space that quite literally cannot be solved. Throughout the film, furniture both appear and disappear. Any individual example could be dismissed, sure, but collectively they're creating a strange effect. It all works to create a film that feels unstable. Characters are also as contradictory as they come. Jack Torrance feels like both an ordinary man slowly losing his mind and a man who seems disturbed from the very beginning of the film. The film makes a conscious decision to never fully commit to either of these readings. Wendy is also a similar example. I've seen some viewers interpret her as strong-willed while others see her as fragile. The film supports both readings simultaneously. Even the ghosts refuse to behave consistently. Are they real memories, or are they simply hallucinations? The film gives evidence for every single possibility, and certainty for none. I don't think these contradictions are flaws. In fact, I think they're quite the opposite. I think they're the point of the film. Kubrick understood something fundamental about human psychology. Humans hate unresolved patterns. When we encounter something that doesn't quite make sense, we keep thinking about it. And The Shining is filled with these unresolved patterns. My favourite location in the entire film is the Gold Room. In my opinion, it's the most timeless location in cinema. But what exactly is it? A ghostly recreation of the hotel's past? A supernatural dimension? The film never clarifies this. And because it never clarifies, audiences choose to fill the gap themselves. Another recurring motif is mirrors. Characters are constantly encountering their own reflections, and some of the most important revelations occur through these reflections. Danny discovers red rum through a reflection, and Jack repeatedly confronts himself through mirrors. The audience is encouraged to look twice, to question what they're seeing. Kubrick turns the viewers into detectives. In the final scene of The Shining, we're shown a photograph dated July 4th, 1921. This is the image that's launched thousands of theories. It's a crowd of people, and standing in the centre of it is Jack Torrance. And just like that, the film ends. No explanation, no final answer. One of the greatest unanswered questions in film history. Is Jack reincarnated? Has he been absorbed into the hotel? The film refuses to tell us anything. And because it refuses to tell us, we're still debating it nearly half a century later. Over the years, countless theories have emerged, some going as far as to focus on American history, while some just having a general focus on psychology. But that's what makes The Shining unique. Many of these theories do actually work, at least partially. Kubrick wasn't creating a code to be cracked, he was creating a film dense enough to support multiple interpretations, exactly like a mirror. People see different things reflected back at them. While one viewer sees family trauma, another sees historical guilt. They're both analysing the same film, but they're watching completely different stories. And that's why no theory of The Shining will ever win. Every explanation solves one mystery while creating another. The film remains permanently unfinished inside the viewer's mind. Maybe the biggest mistake we've made is assuming The Shining actually has a final answer. The goal was never to solve it. Kubrick understood that mystery is far more powerful than explanation. Most films choose to provide closure while The Shining provides obsession. And that's why it rewards rewatches. Every time you return to the Overlook Hotel, it feels different. Not because the film changed, but because you did. I've been watching this film at least yearly since I was around 8 years old, and I can safely say each year of my life I have grown alongside this masterpiece. At first it was just the scary film with Jack Nicholson in it, but now it's something ingrained inside of me, and I don't think it will ever leave. Which is why, after decades of analysis and theories, The Shining remains unsolved. Not because nobody has found the correct answer, but because the search itself has become part of the film. And that's what makes The Shining the most rewatchable movie ever created.